Hey, it's time for our In the Cubicle feature today as prospect students finalize their choices for tertiary studies, that time of the year. In many parts of the continent, we know that transition from going to school and actually finding a job, it can be very difficult. And experts say an often overlooked factor to bear in mind is the quality of the university's career services offering. These services play a critical role in equipping students with essential skills and connections for their career, while also facilitating a smooth transition from the classroom to the workplace. We have this conversation today to chat about how do you go about that, making that decision of that university, or even when you're in that university, getting the services of a career services department. We talk about this with Francine Mashabela, Manager for Career Services at the Independent Institute for Education's Varsity College, or IIE MSA, and IIE Vega School. Francine, welcome on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Let's define what we mean by these career services departments in universities.
Okay, so when we talk about career services, our main role is to prepare students for career readiness, work and career readiness, in fact. And this is essentially support that we offer students to equip them, to empower them, ensuring that by the time they complete their studies, they make a smooth transition into the world of work.
And how do you go about that, making sure that the institution that you are going in has one of these services? How would you know?
You know what? I think, to be honest with you, a lot of prospective students do not necessarily look for that when they do their research. Mm-hmm. But I think it's important to keep an eye out when you go, for example, for open days. I know that what we do is we not only have your student advisors who would be advising you on the qualifications that are offered, but we also ensure that we've got the student experience team, which has various departments. Career services is one of those. And what we do is on that day, we engage a lot with parents, we engage with the prospective students. We try to create awareness as much as possible with regards to the services that we offer as soon as they get on campus. So it's important for students to not only, or prospective students rather, to not only look for the registering a certain qualification, but to also ensure that they check the type of support that is offered at varsity. And they can get that during open days, like I said. They can also, when they speak to the student advisors with regards to the qualifications that are being offered, they can also ask regarding career services. They can also go to the institution's website, because most of the time there is information on there with regards to career services and the service and the support that they can receive from them. And I mean, I think even more than that, the door is always open. Of course, we support current students, but then we don't have our door closed. The student, when your prospective students comes on campus to do research or to chat to the student advisor, they can refer them as well to career services, and they can get more information with regards to how we can support them as soon as they start varsity.
You know, Francina, a lot of these students come into university wide-eyed and looking hopeful for the future. They think they've picked the right course that's going to help them, get a job after varsity, which is usually the notion that it used to be, right? You go to varsity, you get a job, and then your career is set. But things aren't looking that good in our countries these days, especially when it comes to employment and unemployment. And maybe career services could give that individual an extra edge. But are enough students actually interacting with the career services in the way that's necessary for them to make that transition?
I don't think that enough students actually engage with career services. And maybe it's because they are not as aware as they should be. But I think it's also because we find that some students think, I don't need to go to career services right now. I'll wait until my final year, and then I'll go to career services and they'll help me find a job. But what we are trying to preach, the gospel that we're trying to preach on campus, on our campuses, is you need to go to career services from the first year onwards, because it's not just about finding a job when you complete your studies. It's about intentionally building your career during your studies. So your career is not just going to start when you complete your studies, right? Your career starts when you are still at varsity. You need to acquire those skills. You need to build your profile. You need to know how to engage with employers. You need to know what skills are required in the workplace that you can acquire while you're still studying, so that by the time you complete your studies, you actually have a competitive edge. So no, I don't think that enough students go to career services, but then we continue to try to create that awareness with our first year students onwards. From the time they hit campus during orientation week, we try to create that awareness to say, hey, listen, we can walk this journey with you. You need to come through to career services. Let us show you how you can build your career from now to actually stand out to prospective employers.
I love that aspect that a career does start, when you actually get your diploma or degree. It actually starts while you're on campus. I remember when I was on campus, I was part of the record team. I was making sure that I was writing articles in the newspapers. We launched our campus radio station as a team there. And, that actually got me into the motion that, I'm already a journalist. I'm not just studying journalism, but I'm actually doing this whole thing while I'm studying the whole thing. How important is that? I think most students take that for granted. And what do you think parents should advise? Because I think we get hands off when our children are gone and they've gone to universities, and we don't advise them to start actually getting into the passion of their careers while they study.
Listen, I am with you. I wish I had done the same thing when I was at varsity. I mean, I think what happens is we get on campus, we bury ourselves in our books, but what actually is of value is to immerse yourself in industry. So volunteer in different organizations, get into student leadership committees on campus, get into whatever that is being offered in the student experience space. Get into that so that you can gain more self-awareness. I think that's a key thing for me. The fact that the more you expose yourself, the more you get involved, the more you volunteer, or you, for example, as you did, just in terms of what you did at varsity, or when you get a part-time job, whatever it is that you do, that's how you acquire the skills that you need. And even more importantly, that's how you gain self-awareness.
All right, Francine,
because then you're able to...
Sure.
Sorry?
Let's take a bit of a break. You let us know and continue your stream of thought there. We'd love to know what you wanted to say, but we need to take a quick break. Stay there on the line. You're giving us some wonderful advice. We're speaking about transition from being a student to actually the workplace. And as you can hear from Francine there, when it comes to career services, they advise to actually start while studying. And I think that's great advice. We'll get more after the break.
Africa in Business on Channel Africa.
The United States was very vocal at the beginning of South Africa's G20 presidency, and this is largely due to strained relations with South Africa at the time, that they were not really keen on participating. Where do they stand right now?
The US is planning to take over the presidency of the G20 next year, and our understanding from them is that they intend to continue to do so, and therefore it is quite difficult then to be in a situation where you are not attending deputies' meetings or discussions during our presidency and then to take over the presidency next year. From a finance track perspective, there has been engagement. We've been working on a communique last week and this week here in Zimbabwe. What's important about that is that it's a consensus document. And so all the members in the room have to agree to the language that is used there. And our US colleagues have been part of those discussions and negotiations.
Bringing the African markets into your home. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
On the Move, weekdays, 9 a.m. to midday.
Only on Channel Africa. #On the Move.
We're engaging on a conversation in the cubicle today about a bridge between one's academic journey in varsity and their professional life through career services. Francine Mashabela, Manager for Career Services at the Independent Institute of Education's Varsity College, MSA and Vega School, joins us to have this conversation. Thank you for staying with us, Francine. Francine, one thing that's really important as well is the kids themselves understanding understanding what the future is actually going to hold for them. So that interaction with knowing, the real life situations that they might come across is important. Career services, I know, are about bridging that gap for your professional life, but does it also prepare one in other ways, like emotionally, psychologically, to be prepared for that environment?
Okay, so we really believe in preparing students holistically. And I think because of that, within the student experience department, we do have another portfolio called Student Wellness, and they're really focused on supporting students with regards to their well-being, mental health, and so on. So our focus is not just only on academics or on career services, but we try to get the student holistically. But then even within career services, some of the workshops that we do with students are on emotional intelligence. Now, how do you carry yourself and navigate the workplace, and how do you ensure that you are self-aware such that whatever situation that you find yourself in, you're able to adapt accordingly. For students that would require assistance with regards to mental health or their well-being and so on, or whatever the case might be, we are then able to refer them to student wellness, because we really believe that it's important to look at every area and just focus on supporting students holistically.
I love that. You know, Francina, in the cubicle feature, we've had quite a number of conversations about the workplace and how it looks now. And it seems like soft skills have become increasingly important in the environment of work. And what the students don't know is that just having the qualification now can't be enough. You need to actually go out there and start getting those soft skills. So is that something that you take into account in the career services, not just how they're learning or them learning what the job entails, but the soft skill that can actually give them that extra edge?
Listen, it is one of our priorities. We actually have what we call the industry immersion program. And this is where we are emphasizing as much as possible to say, you've got your focus on your academics, brilliant, but you also need to immerse yourself in industry. So we have a career services portal where students are able to go on there, they're able to view and apply for opportunities. And the focus is not only on graduate opportunities when they complete their studies, but then it's during their studies, students are able to apply for part-time work, they're able to even go for job shadowing opportunities. They're able to engage with employers during VAC work, or even workplace observation. And I think that is really helpful to just really help students to see what the world of work looks like and what is required of them in the workplace. So it's definitely a focus. And in fact, that's exactly what will help our students to be work ready, work and career ready. It's not just about being in the classroom. Do that by all means. That is the first and most important thing. But it's also about making sure that you're able to take what you learn in the classroom and you're able to then apply it in the world of work. And to be able to do that, you need that exposure, that industry exposure that can only come when you expose yourself to the various opportunities, when you engage in job shadowing, when you even have an informational interview with an employer, or even during career fairs. That's where some of our students gain access to opportunities while they're still studying. And I think it's something that should be taken seriously by students, because employers have often reported that they get students into the organization, they've got the right qualification, however, they lack the job-ready skills. So they lack the soft skills that we're referring to right now. Hence, it's very important that while you're still studying as a student, ensure that you're not just burying yourself in your books, but you also go and get the necessary exposure, and career services can assist you with that, just in terms of being able to get into the workplace, or even on campus. You'll be surprised how even starting off with volunteering or getting involved in a student leadership committee, that builds your skills. That helps you to get a taste of the real world. And it really helps you to build your profile, because that's what employers are looking for. They're looking for that balance between your technical skills and your soft skills. And those soft skills don't just come with you being in the classroom. They come through you actually just getting in there, getting the exposure that you need.
That's so interesting that you say that. I'm also interested in the fact that, a student's life is very dynamic. You could go in wanting to study something. You could be also studying something specific, but it takes you into a different direction. You're always making academic choices in your university career, and you're probably going to divert into something completely different at the end of your university life.
That's
How
possible,
important
yes.
is career services in helping you adapt to just where you or your inclinations are going towards, and also making those changes and adaptations?
So I think it's important because the career services team, just within the institution, we try as much as possible to just let students know that you need self-awareness. Yes, you've made the decision that I want to study whatever. Maybe you're going to study a BCom, right? Degree, for a BCom degree. But when you gain self-awareness, when you start being more aware of what you're passionate about, of your interests, of doing research in terms of what's available out there, career services is also able to help you with regards to how you can see or take the qualification that you've got and match it together with your interests, your passions, your abilities, so that you are able to see the various career options that you've got. So we've got information, we've got resources on the career services portal where students are able to gain more self-awareness with regards to their strengths. They're also able to gain information with regards to the various qualifications. So if I'm doing a BCom degree, or if I'm doing maybe a BA in English and communications, what are the career options that I've got? And what is it that I am interested in? And how can I then bring all this together so that I make the right choice for myself? I think it's also important to say that we encourage our students to do as much research as possible. I'm sure you will agree that the jobs that we have, or that we had 20 years ago, what we used to think, this is the career, this is gonna take me somewhere.
Yeah, that's all gone now.
Have jobs, they're gone. And we now have jobs that were non-existent then. And I'm telling you now, 20 years or 10 years from now even, you might find that there are more careers that we never even imagined that we would have. So it's important to do research, and career services can help you with that. Just in terms of not only being self-aware and knowing how you can use your qualification, how you can actually view your career path, the direction that you want to go into, but essentially how you can also adapt using your qualification, knowing your own passions, your interests, abilities, and so on, taking all that and being able to adapt as the industry continues to change.
All right, Francine, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for helping us understand career services a little bit, more. And I know you head up career services for 3 particular institutions, which is Varsity College, MSA, and Vega School. So hopefully those who are going into these institutions will know that they'll be taken care of when it comes to career services. Thank you so much for your time.
By all means. Thank you. And I really hope that even if they don't come to our institution, at the end of the day, make sure that you do your research, make sure that you visit your career services and set yourself up for a career success.
That's Francine Mashabela, Manager for Career Services at the Independent Institute for Education's Varsity College, MSA, and Vega School, speaking to us about career services as a bridge between the academic journey and your professional life. It's 10:31 Central Africa time. That was In the Cubicle, but now we move on to our latest sports news with Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa.
The African Perspective.